Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Football Fignuts podcast. This is Season 4, Episode 17. If you counted all the seasons together up to now, that is 167. And with me tonight is someone special.
Oh, gee.
It's Sinch, everyone. Sinch is back and has joined us again.
Pleasure to be here.
Thank you for joining me, sir. Britt is just taking the day off, so yeah, here we are.
Much like Daniel Jones was tackled by the turf monster, Britt was tackled by the work monster.
Yeah, that happens sometimes, you know. It happens. So, Sinch, how have you been?
Things are going great.
Good.
Just
good.
happy to be here. Want to help the team any way I can.
You are the utility player, sir.
I am the Jose Oquendo. I play every position.
You know, you need players like that. Maybe not in the NFL. The NFL, you could probably be like Cordell Stewart, you know, kick.
Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill is the new Cordell Stewart.
Well, he does tight end, running back, quarterback.
Yeah. He hasn't kicked yet, but I'm sure it could happen.
Funniest thing about him is he's better at every other position than he is at quarterback.
See, that's why when he's on the field, you don't know what's going to happen. See?
You know what they should do with him, just to get off the subject for a quick second?
Sure.
He should have like a full series. None of this, all right, it's 1st and goal from the 9, you're in. They should just, all right, 1st and 10 from the 25, this is your series. 3 and out or the whole thing, however it goes, either, you know, because, I mean, all you're doing is breaking the momentum to bring him in for a play. When you get down 1st and goal, you're killing Breeze. I don't know.
What if you leave him in the entire drive but keep rotating where he is?
No, I mean, I think most people think Breeze is going to retire after this season. Mm-hmm. If that's the case, Hill is the second string. You would assume he would take over as starter. Well, if that's the case, you know, the Saints get up 14-0 in a game. I would give this guy a series. Let him go. Yeah, and that leads me to my next point.
Yeah.
They've got famous Jameis Winston sitting on the bench.
He's got new eyes.
He's just sitting there. 3rd string.
Is he the 3rd string, technically?
Yeah. Yes. You mean to tell me he's not better than the bottom 7 or 8 or 9 quarterbacks? Come on. He could be somewhere. He should be in Dallas.
At this rate, you never know. Before we get too sidetracked, let's go where we usually start. Is Sinch, what are you drinking, if anything?
I'm drinking anything. I couldn't wait, so I started before we started recording.
That's perfectly acceptable.
And 'tis the season, so I have Rosemary's Baby.
Nice. Not the other baby, just the regular baby.
Well, I have the other baby as well, but I'm keeping that baby in the refrigerator.
Smart.
What do you have?
I am going with a beer that Britt gave me by New Park. This one is Laurel. I don't think I had this one last time around we got New Park.
I've had that one.
What did you think of it?
I thought it was very good.
It is. It's very smooth for a double IPA.
Mm-hmm.
Very smooth. All right, so shall we move on to Burning Hot Takes?
Okay.
Would you like to give or receive?
I'm going to receive because I forgot to get a question, so you go ahead and ask me something while I look something up.
That's perfectly fine. That's fine.
Okay, wait, I got one.
Oh, okay, good.
I'm ready. Okay, here we go. So, Christian McCaffrey is back.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you start him? What happens with Mike Davis? Is he gone completely? Can you start him? Can you start both? What do you think?
For me, I think I would, if I could, I would start both because we haven't seen McCaffrey play since he got hurt. I mean, I'm sure he's healthy and he can play, but do I know, are they going to have him on a, like a play count? Maybe?
I don't know. Also keep in mind, they are the Thursday game.
Ooh.
Do you just punt on him until next week and next week they play the Chiefs.
Hmm. Which is
So
probably
that
going to be a higher scoring game.
I think that's a really interesting matchup because I don't think the Chiefs defense is too good.
Hmm.
However, they are the number one defense this week because they play the Jets.
True. True. Yeah, so it being a Thursday game, even though McCaffrey has not played in, was it 6 weeks ish? 7 weeks? Something.
I think it's 4.
Oh, really? What? You know
He
what?
played 2.
Time is like irrelevant
5
now.
weeks.
I have no
5
idea.
weeks. 2020 sucks. That's all we need to know.
So yeah, it being a Thursday game, if I could, I would just skip him this week. Wait till next week at the Chiefs, because that is going to be a much higher scoring game. More than likely, he'll be more involved. I would give it a week, especially with being Thursday.
Okay, but then the other problem is Thursday they play the Falcons, who also don't believe in putting 11 players on defense.
This is also true.
But
Yeah.
see, my concern is, does this make Mike Davis irrelevant? He's not going to factor in. Are they going to go 15 touches for each guy and make both of them irrelevant?
You know, and again, this really depends on his injury if they're doing a count. You know, if they split times the way Ingram and Kamara did last season, then, you know, I mean, it could work. I don't know if it's going to, but I don't know. This week, I think Mike Davis is still pretty safe to use. Next week, not sure.
Okay.
That's me.
It's a wait and see.
It is. It is. All right, are you ready for your question?
Go ahead. I'm sitting down.
You're sitting down. This might be obvious because you, of all people, would know. Way back when, like, you know, early 90s, 80s, the Patriots, for those of you young folk, the Patriots were not a super spectacular team. You know,
The worst team in football.
they were 1-15 one season.
I remember it.
See, Sinch remembers. It was a dark time in New England. So, you know, they built up, they had their dynasty run, and this season
I don't want to go back.
it's clear that the dynasty the walls are crumbling, to put it bluntly. So my question to you is, what do the Patriots need to do to avoid... I'm not going to say what do they need to do to make another dynasty, but what do they have to do to avoid next season going 1-15 again, like they did years ago? Do they need to get rid of Cam?
Here's how I see it.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is Belichick wants to win.
Right.
If it were up to me, I would completely tank the rest of this season.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe they're good enough if they play their best to do any better than a 7-win team.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to be 7-9, you're better off being 2-14. If they did that, they would be pretty much guaranteed, if they won 2 games, to get one of the top 3 quarterbacks that would be coming out.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they should do. I don't think that's what they're going to do. I think it's more likely that they'll be a 7-9 team at the end of the season.
And then, so you think they just keep Cam? Because, I don't know, Cam, like, he started off really good, and now, I don't know, he looks frazzled, he got COVID, he's throwing...
That's it right there.
He's
All right,
throwing to the ground.
Put yourself in the mindset that you're a pro athlete.
Mm-hmm.
So you've had it your way. You've had whatever you've wanted your whole life.
Right.
Now that, you tested positive, you have COVID. Do you have any symptoms? And he's probably thinking to himself, well, I'm a little stuffy nose. I got a little bit of a headache, but I'm fine. No, I don't have any symptoms. Well, now the time comes and it goes and he's not positive anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But I think all of these guys, there's a lasting effect. Look at Zeke. He's had the worst year of his career. He is not right. If you watch him, he's not right. That's not the guy that got that big contract. He's just not the same player. So I think these guys, there's lasting side effects that they're just slower, and I don't know.
Yeah, because
something just isn't right.
There's a lot of stuff coming out now that depending how bad you have COVID, it affects your cognitive ability for a while after you get better. So maybe that's part of it. I don't know.
I don't know.
Scary. Do you have another question or no?
I mean, I could think something up.
I mean, sure, go
With
ahead. That's why it's burning hot takes.
Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
It's my belief that him signing there is because Brady wanted him. So if the quarterback wants him, that means he's going to feed him.
Mhm.
And I think what will happen is he will take over more of the Scotty Miller slot receiver type role. If that's the case, I think you could look for a big uptick in Mike Evans' production, because if the defenders are crashing down on the underneath route, that's going to open up the deeper route for Evans. What do you think?
That could work, but then the question is, what happens to Chris Godwin? I mean, I know he needs finger surgery, but where does
I
where
don't
does he
think it
fit in?
eliminates him. Well, he's been a minimal contributor this season between injuries and injuries that he's playing through. I think am I crazy? I'm not looking this up or anything. I think Scotty Miller's been the most productive receiver they have.
I would have to look up their stats. But he did have several good weeks. And here's the other question. Can you have Antonio Brown and Mike Evans on the same team? Is one of them going to start getting annoyed they're not getting the ball as much as the other one?
Well, that could happen with Evans, I guess. I would think Evans might be pissed off as it is already, because he hasn't had a breakout game yet. Well, no, I think he had one game this year.
He did have the Chris Evans game. Or Mike Evans game.
But I think that last week he had 2 targets, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one week where he had 2 targets for like 2 touchdowns and 3 yards or something ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what? It really depends on how much do these guys want to win. Because right now they're winning. In the past, they've had production and not won. So, got to see what they want.
Yeah, and then, how do you feel if you're Evans and your quarterback major team signs someone else? Like, is Evans, does he stay a buck after this?
Well, receivers are divas, so
why? Quick sidebar. Why is it receivers more than any other position? Just because of their big play potential?
It's got to be a flash position, and running backs just get hit too much. So that's why I don't think you get it with the running backs, because if they come out and they're during the week and then they pound 20, they're going to think twice about what they're going to say before the next game. The receivers, if you think about it, what do they get? 8 targets a game, 10 targets a game, and out of those, maybe you're getting hit 7 or 8 times. And blocking is on the receiver as far as how physical he wants to be. I don't know. They're all divas. All of them. 65 divas a team.
They are. Damn it. All right. So on that note, it's time for America's favorite game, which Sinch won last time. First win
I didn't
of the
mean
season.
to.
Yes, you did.
Sorry. It was an accident.
All right, so let me recount how many over 50 games there are this week here really quick. So, let's see, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 games.
Wow, 6.
Are over 50. And you may start when ready.
All right, I'm going to go to the highest scoring one.
Mm-hmm.
You always start with the Chiefs.
All right, let's go to the Chiefs. Oh, you are off by 1 point, sir. They are at 49.
So you mean to tell me that the NFL thinks the Chiefs are going to score 46 and the Jets are only going to get 3?
Well, no, Vegas. Okay. Vegas is
All
also
right.
giving the Jets 19.5.
Wow.
Do you take the Jets?
No. What, are you kidding? No. Wait, let me think about it. No.
All right, that was strike one.
All right. Not feeling good now. Starting with a strike. How about the Vikings Packers?
Mm-hmm. Yes, that is 52.5.
Ding, 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 ding.
Green Bay giving 6.5.
How about the Steelers Ravens?
Steelers Ravens. That is a 46.5. The Ravens getting 3.5.
I've got an easy win with this one. The 49ers Seahawks.
You are correct. That is a 53.5 with Seattle giving 3 points.
And I can tell you, I've looked through the whole slate of games and I'm stuck. I have nothing else that's easy. Could it be the Thursday night Falcons Panthers?
Let's see. And yes, it is a 51.5 with the Panthers giving 2.5.
So what do I got? One more to go?
You have 3 more to go.
Wow. Well, if I have 3 to go, I feel really good about going with the Titans Bengals.
You are correct. That is a 53.5 with the Titans giving 5.5.
Okay, then. So how about the Raiders Browns?
Correct again. That is a 52.5 with Cleveland getting 2.5. One more. May or may not get it.
I've got this one. I believe it's the Matthew Stafford Lions and Colts.
Wow, folks, and he hit it out of the park. That is a 50. He gets it. Sinch gets it again with 2 strikes.
I am on fire.
Wow. Lovely show, sir. So, yeah, if you're looking at, without, before we get into any metric DFS stuff, so you always try to pick the higher games, higher points per game, I guess to say. So you got the Atlanta Falcons, you got the Carolina Panthers, you got the Titans, you got the Bengals. The Colts and Lions is right on the edge there. Because the Colts, I don't know, their defense was supposed to be good, but I don't know, they seem not stupendous lately. And then you got the 49ers and the Seahawks. And the Seahawks are going to get a new defensive end. So, yeah, that might help them out.
Well, they need something. Their defense sucks.
Listen, so really quick of the whole Carlos Dunlap thing. He's been a Bengal for 7 years. He has 113 starts. He's been really good. This year, and I know it started last year when Zach came in, they didn't agree on stuff, and things were kept private, so you really couldn't tell. But this year, if you add in the losing, and then all of a sudden he's playing third downs only. Now he's on Zoom yelling at people. He's yelling on the sideline. I think the biggest thing is when he posted the defensive rotation on Instagram.
Yeah, that can't happen.
You can't do that. I mean, sure, like by the second quarter, the other team is already going to mostly figure it out anyway, but still, like you just don't do that. And then like you have people on your team that are getting annoyed with you, and yeah, no one's happy. They've only won 1 game. Sure, I get it, but yeah, I think
they'd be used to it.
Yeah, he's been there for 7 years. But I think this works out better for everybody. He's on a new team. The Bengals get back a pick and an offensive lineman, which they sorely, sorely need because now out of the 5 that started the season, 4 of them are broken. So, yeah.
I hate when that happens.
Can't do anything without an offensive line. It just does not work.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, on to the metrics. Well, it's sort of not mortified. It's sort of a modified list that we have this week.
Well, after last week, it should be mortified.
Can I just say I was out with Britt last Sunday, and I only played FanDuel last week, and I did the stupid thing that you should not do. You should never check DraftKings or FanDuel at all during the game, because your positioning in contests moves so much, from quarter to quarter. So I looked at it. I was like, huh. And I put it down. Then, like, 15 minutes later, I looked at it again. I was like, oh, wow. Huh. Right? And then, like, a half hour later, I made Britt look at my phone. And he's like, yeah, you're up. Yeah. And then the next day, I'm a little over breaking even. you just can't look. Just can't.
Yeah, it was one of those weeks.
It was. There's been so many injuries and replacements, and it's just, I don't know. 2020 is a thing. Oh, and another quick aside about 2020. Can I get your quick, and I know this has to do with baseball, can I get your quick thoughts on having a player who tested positive for COVID come out of the game and then be allowed to go back out at the end of the game around everyone with no mask?
My thoughts are I can't. I'm done. I can't. I've got nothing left. That's my thoughts. What do you say? I got nothing left.
Like, I don't know. Like, why? Just I don't know. All right. Anyway, moving on. So we do have some players that we think could work this week. So first off would be, let's see, let me just pull this up here. First off, because he is only 5,500, would be Derek Carr, because Derek Carr is playing Cleveland. So if you're looking for a cheap quarterback, that is not a bad option. That is one of the games that is over 50. Another option, actually, too, is Jimmy Garoppolo. Let me just double check what Jimmy's
playing Seattle.
He's playing Seattle, but their defense. And I actually don't know if Carlos is going to play this week because of the whole COVID buffer, so he may not actually be there. He's 54. Also, not a bad option because yes, I have Seattle's defense on a fantasy team. It's not the best. It's not the best option ever. The next person down on the list, and this is gonna hurt Sinch. Do you want to know who it is?
Tell us all.
It's your buddy Daniel Jones.
Danny dime a dozen. Who are they playing this week? The Giants?
Well, actually, the Giants are the Monday game. But if you're in a contest,
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
But
next.
wait though, Tampa Bay is playing in New York, so there's a good chance like 5 people on the Bucs could get hurt in the first quarter because the field is going to eat them.
That only affects NFC West teams.
Oh, gotcha. So, are there any quarterbacks that you like this week?
Well, I have a bit of a man crush on Justin Herbert.
Yeah,
because he is exactly what I want for my team. He's a big guy. He looks the part.
He does.
He can
does
make
look like
every throw. Can make every throw. And if he needs to run, he could get 8 yards, 9 yards, and pick up the first down.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think that, I think Tua better be really good, or Miami's going to say, why didn't we draft Herbert? And I think Burrow is safe. Burrow is a good quality NFL quarterback.
Yeah, he's on pace to break the rookie record for passing.
He's on a team where he is like the only good quality NFL player on that team. Sorry, Craig.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry. Mixon, that train is crashed, fell off the
now
bridge,
he's hurt.
Underwater. It's
T. Higgins. I have to say, T. Higgins has come around.
He's the next Ocho Cinco.
I'm okay with that. I'm all right with that.
I just feel bad for Burrow because he gets killed on every single
That's
play.
Why I'm hoping this new offensive lineman, and there's another one from the Bills that was visiting Cincinnati this week, so I pray to the football gods that they sign both of them. And just a quick aside about the Bengals, this is the only second time, I think, ever that they have traded a player mid-season. The last person that they traded was Carson Palmer mid-season. Yeah.
And that one they had to do because they weren't going to sign him, and he was going to be a free agent, right? Am I
Yeah, and
remembering right?
it involved money, and he didn't want to be there anymore anyway, and
Mm-hmm.
he didn't get along with the owners. It was just bad. After he got hurt and they lost that playoff game, it just all fell apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what are you gonna do? All right, so on to running backs. So there's two running backs that I think stand out this week. One would be, and now, yes, I know it's expensive. We're gonna have to go a little chalk here with the first pick. Is Alvin Kamara is 8,200, but he's playing the Bears. And as I tell Sean every week, I regret drafting any Bears this year and last year. So yeah.
Well, the one thing the Bears have is a good defense.
Do they?
So I yes, they do. I will not be using Kamara this week. I don't like the matchup for 8,200.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that our metric system says to use him, but that's okay.
It's all right.
I have independent thought on this one.
Who do you like this week?
Whoever my wife tells me I like, that's who I'll use.
Well, how does she feel about Kareem Hunt?
She likes Kareem Hunt.
He's playing Vegas.
Cleveland has a great matchup, so and I just now breaking news.
Yeah.
Dalvin Cook will be active on Sunday.
Will
he? Practiced today. Today is Wednesday. We're recording, and he practiced, and it all went well, and he'll be back. So he's going against the Green Bay defense.
Yep.
At the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field.
I do like Taylor playing Detroit. He's 66. Now here's one thing I will say about the Chiefs-Jet game. If you're in a tournament, just from me, because I tend to play more like a few tournaments a week, just because everyone and their mother and their dog is going to be using the Chief players against the Jets. And that is really something you want to avoid in tournaments. You have to find guys that people are not going to use a lot of. So I guarantee you, if you look at lineups afterwards, you're going to see over half people using Mahomes. And that's not something you really want to do. I will say, though, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is tempting at 65. But, yeah.
Anyone against the Jets. I understand your point.
Or is it one of those things where it's too obvious? Like,
it's the kind of thing where I could see them jumping out to a quick lead and everyone getting a little bit of something. But then you're not going to keep Kelsey out there for the whole game. You're probably not going to. If you really want to go to a sleeper, start Chad Henne because he's probably going to play a quarter. So
yeah, you might
you don't want to risk injury with these guys. If you're up 28-3, you're going to pull everybody off the field.
Yeah.
I've got a sleeper of sleepers at running back.
Oh, who is it?
DJ Dallas.
DJ Dallas.
Who's that guy?
Who is that guy?
He is the next man up at running back in Seattle. So you've got Chris Carson is week to week with his foot injury, and then Carlos Hyde has a hamstring injury, so you got to figure he's not going. You'll have to forgive me, I can't remember the name of the third string guy, but I heard he was hurt as well. So this is a wait and see, but if it looks like DJ Dallas is going to be the starting running back in Seattle, I haven't looked him up yet. His salary has got to be like $3,000. So just somebody to keep in mind.
4,000.
Wow. Even so, 4,000. There's going to be a lot of offense. A lot of production comes from Seattle. It's possible he could get a goal line carry, get a touchdown for you, maybe a couple of passes out of the backfield. So he's my sleeper of the week.
All right, so on to receivers. Now, receivers, I'm going to throw out some names that you may not be horribly familiar with.
I know I wasn't.
The first person on that list is Kendrick Bourne. He is $3,500. He's on San Francisco and he's playing Seattle. And again, remember, we told you right now, Seattle's defense is not super. They are no longer the Legion of Boom.
How is DJ Dallas 4,000 and Bourne 3,500?
Yes, because DraftKings said so. I don't know. You know why? Because there's more receivers than running backs, I'm assuming.
DJ spells his name Deejay. I'm just saying.
It's not abbreviated.
Nope.
All right, so let's go see who is next. Next would be Scotty Miller. But again, playing Monday, you may not be able to use him in the lineup. Another receiver on the list is Rashad Higgins. Not to be confused with T. Higgins on the Bengals. Actually, I know both of them would actually be very usable this week. But Rashad Higgins is playing the Raiders, and he is 4,200. So that is an option. And then again, since I mentioned him, T. Higgins, he's 5,600. They're playing Tennessee. And again, Tennessee's defense is not super against the pass.
True.
Anybody you like?
Scotty Miller, if you're figuring that this could be his last week, I don't think Antonio Brown can play until week 9.
I think, and then I don't know how the whole COVID thing works if he can't.
Well, I think he's there.
Well, he's suspended, but he can't do anything, right?
I thought I heard that he was able to show up and work out at the facility. Either way, he's not playing this week. My point is, if this is Scotty Miller's last chance at the number of targets that he's not going to see anymore, because Antonio Brown will be there. Maybe that's not a reason to use him, but our metric is saying that there's a high probability that he'll give you 2 times, 3 times the value. So, I don't know. Besides matching up the receiver with the quarterback you like, I like Devontae Adams every week. This week they're going against Minnesota. Their defense isn't great. You know, it's kind of weird. There's like 5 or 6 good defenses, and the rest of them just stink.
They're kind of like, eh.
Yeah.
You know, there's very few all-around good defenses. Like, say, for example, the Ravens. Either defense is really good at stopping the run or they're good at stopping the pass, but very few of them are good at both this year.
Yes.
That's the thing. All right, so on to tight end, where this gets a little murky because nobody really jumps out. You know, you have Darren Waller playing Cleveland. He's 5,600. Who else we got here on the list? Jonnu Smith, if he's healthy. Let me just double check. Is he healthy? Because he was hurt.
Yeah, he was out not this Sunday, but last Sunday. That was the day Ferkser had a big...
No, he's in. He's a very cheap option. He's playing the Bengals, and again, they're not super at stopping tight ends. He's 4,100, so if you're looking to save some money, that is a perfect spot for that. Anybody stand out for you?
Yeah, tight end. I like TJ Hawkinson a lot, but he's going against the Lions are playing the Colts, and I think the Colts are the number 1 defense against tight ends. So where I normally like him, I'm kind of shying away. I think I'm going to use Waller this week. Tight end generally for me has been a position where I look to save money.
Yeah, and this week you may have to. All right, so on to that last spot that everyone's just like, who the hell do I use? You know, a lot of the times... Wow.
I like of the times out of bottles.
I try to use a really cheap defense because it doesn't horribly matter, although I'll make a point of that after this. The cheapest defense on DraftKings right now is the Jets playing Kansas City. I probably would not do that.
But you know what, though? If just go back and check next week. If you don't want to use them and you pick someone, say 2 or 3 defenses more expensive than the Jets,
Mm-hmm.
you're talking about a 4 point difference in your final score. You
That's
know,
true.
it's not like the Jets are going to give you 3 and the next team's going to give you
Because
17.
so we'll look. We'll say like so the Bills are highly rated this week, right? So average points per game for the Jets is 4.6, right? And they're 2,000. The Bills are
Wait,
30.
wait, wait. Are
Yeah,
you talking fantasy points or the
fantasy
actual
points.
points
No, fantasy
the New
points.
York Jets score per week?
Fantasy points per game. Yeah.
Okay.
The Bills, they're 3,300, and their points per game are 4.9. I mean, it's not a huge jump, but it's a huge jump in salary.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something you really got to consider.
And the other thing to think about, if that Chief Jet game plays out the way I think it will,
Mm.
so the Chiefs get off to a big early lead, they pull Mahomes. Now you got Chad Henne in there, and the possibility of him throwing an interception
It's
or trying
possible.
to run and getting hit and fumbling.
Or sacks.
Yeah, there's your points right there.
Yeah. And defenses don't need to do a whole ton to get you 4 points. So you're just going to go with the cheapest option, really?
I've done the same thing you were talking about before. When it comes to defenses, I just go to the cheapest or something close to the cheapest, and I would rather use my money somewhere else.
Yeah, so how much would you want to what's the most you would spend on a defense? 2,000? Under 3,000?
Well, you know, you pick your lineup and you see where that leaves you near the end.
Mhm.
Usually what happens is I come down to a defense and another position, and I've got to find money for, $5,000 for 2 spots. So I would rather go. I usually use the cheapest, or maybe $100 higher up than that, and then spend the rest of the money on the other position.
Makes sense. Yeah, but really quick about defense is I don't know if you read that article, but someone was in $1 million DraftKings tournament, and at the end, it said that he won the $1 million, but there was a stat change, and they added a sack to a defense that wasn't originally scored as a sack. That completely changed the outcome of that tournament, and he won $3,000.
I would much rather be the guy that won $3,000. Oh, no, wait, there's a scoring change. You won $1 million.
Yeah, it happens. And there's nothing, you can't argue it. Just, yeah. Yep. So on that note, I think we're almost about out of time. Any final thoughts, sir?
Final thoughts. Let's see. Well, you know what? My final thought is I want my team, the Patriots, to lose every game for the rest of the season. I'm not sure how they're going to lose to the Jets twice or once, but that's what I want to happen, because I would rather stink for 1 year than be mediocre for 5.
Yeah, because like I said before, there's a lot of people on the Patriot bandwagon that have never lived through them losing.
Well,
and Sinch has.
If you live long enough, you're going to see it all.
That's true. That is true.
I like Trevor Lawrence. I like Justin Fields. I haven't really watched college. I'm just going by the highlights that I've seen. I want to get a guy in New England that can make every throw, where if you're down by 14, you don't feel like, oh, well, the game's over. And I don't care so much if they could run.
Yeah. So do you
Craig,
think...
what?
Yeah?
Yeah, you go ahead.
No, I was going to say, do you think so? Let's say the Patriots do finish 7-9. Do they make some giant, insane trade to get, like, one of the top 3 picks?
The problem is there's no way to do that. Unless you're trading, they don't have anything. Their best trade chip is Stephon Gilmore, who I think could get a number 1 pick. He was Defensive Player of the Year last year. I think you could trade him and get somebody's number 1. Maybe a team that thinks they're good that really isn't good. like the Raiders or the Chargers. Maybe you could get their number 1, and that'll be a number 8 pick, something like that. And then they could trade their pick and the number 8 pick and move up and
That's
get
a
the
lot
number
of jumps.
3 pick. Well, it's really hard to trade.
It is. That's
and
true.
They won't let me do it. They say, you're just a fan, go home. And I tell them I know what to do, but they don't listen.
Yeah.
So do you have a final thought?
My final thought this week is, I'm just going to say it again. Well, first, hi, Deb.
Hi, Deb.
Deb, just so you
how's
know,
it going, Deb?
I don't know when she's going to listen to this podcast because her podcast listening changed since she really doesn't have a commute anymore. But Deb, I'm going to let you say that you were right. I should have let the soup cool off before I burned myself. And yeah. But anyway.
Well, wait, if you let it cool off,
Mm-hmm.
then you wouldn't burn yourself.
Right. That's the point that Deb is trying to make to me for the last 20 years.
Yeah, but I mean, this is an experience, a valuable experience. You got to let the kids fall down. You can't just put them in a bubble. You got to let them eat that.
That's true. You got to let them stick their finger in the socket. Wait, no, you don't. You shouldn't let them do that.
You burn your mouth. The only way you'll learn.
Yeah, but I have burned my mouth and I haven't learned.
Well,
that's another topic.
Well,
I've gotten better. Damn it. Yeah, I'm just gonna say, you know what? Because everyone should just wear a mask. That's it. Just put the stupid mask on. That's all.
And it is Halloween, so.
And it's Halloween, so just put a mask on. You wear a seatbelt in your car, don't you? Just put a stupid mask on. Damn it.
Yes.
All right.
Come on. I want this over with already. Put a mask on.
Damn it. Please. It's not that difficult. There's all different ones, different designs. I have like
I
6.
I just hope that this podcast survives for years down the line so that someone could listen to it and say, what the hell are they talking about? Wear a mask. That's what I hope.
What the hell is a mask? And who the hell is Deb?
And why would I put a mask on?
And Sinch, thank you again for joining me this week. It's always a pleasure.
I love doing it anytime.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. And you can check us out at fignutsdfs.com, fignutsdfs on Twitter. You can find the podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Player FM, Google Podcasts, and I think we're on Pandora now. I'm pretty sure we are. But yeah, you know what? Just if you like the podcast, leave us a review on iTunes. We appreciate it. Send us an email. We're not on Twitter that much these days, but I still check it randomly. So, hey, send something there too. And on that note, I'm Craig.
I'm Sinch.
And this has been the Football Fignuts Podcast. Good night, everybody.